What's up everybody, Jesse here, and we have a ton of information for you. Some of you may consider these as spoilers, so this is your warning. Nintendo sent early copies of the Nintendo Switch and Breath of the Wild to a lot of very lucky people. Part of the embargo said they can talk about what they experienced for the first 5 hours of the game and show up to 15 minutes of gameplay, as long as it doesn't contain certain cutscenes, story spoilers, and specific items, which is understandable. However, as we know, once you leave the Great Plateau, you can travel anywhere you want. Because of this, almost everyone's video and experiences were completely different from one another. Some people headed straight for the ocean and tried making it to the edge of the world. Others tackled some shrines and tried to accomplish as many quests as possible. A few even tried taking on Calamity Ganon. So I decided I would make a video that summed up absolutely everything we learned from everyone else's experience with the game. That way you don't have to search for 50 different videos just to figure out what happens. This is part 2 of a 3-part series, going over absolutely everything learned, which is a lot. So if you would like to see more after this video, be sure to watch part 1 or part 3, which will be uploaded one day after this one. Please subscribe and like so you don't miss out on future videos. And let me know what you thought of all of this in the comments below. If there's anything that I left out, tell us about it in the comments, and when we make a future video on it, we'll be sure to credit you for bringing it to our attention. Also, links to the gameplay I use, and some of my videos, like theories, news, discussions, and podcasts, will be in the description. And I recommend you check out my interview with Holly Wolf. We talk for a little bit over an hour about Breath of the Wild, cosplay, and more. But that's getting a bit off topic, and with all of that out of the way, let's get started. First up, we have probably the most interesting. The game has callbacks to absolutely everything. Obviously, we know Hyrule Castle looks like it was plucked from Twilight Princess, and the Temple of Time looks identical to the one in Ocarina of Time. We also have the Koroks from the Wind Waker, but you will come across more areas, roads, locations, towns, characters, weapons. Literally everything you come across will have a reference to past games. We know Lanayru Road is to the west of Breath of the Wild's map, which is a callback to Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess. Certain characters resemble characters from past games, and some even have names of characters or that reference other characters from past games as well. Obviously we have Beetle, but there are many others. We also have Volvagia from Ocarina of Time, and many others that they can't tell us about just yet. 11. Zelda is a racist. Yes, she went to every race to make them champions of Hyrule, except the Koroks. What's up with that? 12. Korok seeds. What are they used for? A lot of people theorize they would be used for planting trees, as in the Wind Waker that's what the Korok tells us because they're trying to dry up the ocean. However, in this game, they act similar to spirit orbs. But instead of upgrading hearts and stamina, they can be traded along with maracas to certain characters that will increase your storage slots. 13. We have a new type of guardian. These suckers will fly, are extra stealthy, and act as more of a sniper rifle, hitting you instead of a missile-sized explosive blasts from the larger guardians. As I mentioned in the last video, climbing will be your go-to way of escaping enemies. But when the enemy can fly, climbing will be the last thing that you want to do. 14. It seems we were correct in our theories. If you've been paying attention to my channel, HMKs, Zeltex, or any of the other members of the Chamber of Sages, then you will know we theorized the Guardians were possessed by Ganon as his last defense against Hyrule's attack. A leaked cutscene shows this to be 100% true. 15. The old man is King Rom. Well, to be more specific, the ghost or spirit of King Rom. Similar to how Rauru in Ocarina of Time was an ancient spirit but took on the form of the owl Keapora Gaeaboard to guide you through the game. In Wind Waker, the dead king took the form of a talking dragon boat. So King Rom taking the form of, well, himself isn't that crazy of an idea. 16. While I may know a little bit more than this, I can't share it. Only talk about what has already been shown or leaked. During the same cutscene with King Rom, we are told of the events that happened 100 years ago. The kingdom of Hyrule was excavated and the ancient technology of the Guardians were found. Zelda blessed one member of each race to be champions of their race and champions of Hyrule. Ganon was all but destroyed, and in the last moment, similar to how he destroyed Hyrule Castle in Ocarina of Time to get his last bit of revenge before dying, he possessed the Guardians, which destroyed everything. The excavation also shows us why some Guardians are still half underground. 17. Zelda is in fact alive, as is Ganon. They are both trapped in the castle. 18. They wouldn't say who or what it was, just at times you would come across an enemy that is basically a ninja. Now they didn't say he looked like a ninja or even if it was a he. They just said he will watch you from a distance and if he moves, you're dead. You can see his head turning as you pass him from a distance, with him never taking his eyes off of you. If he moves or disappears, he will sneak up behind you and yes, again, one hit kill you. 19. Getting lost is fun. For instance, in most games, even Zelda, getting lost can kinda be annoying, especially in the Wind Waker where everything's so far apart. If you go 2 or 3 minutes in the wrong direction, then you basically have to backtrack and then travel the original distance just to make it to where you need to go. In Majora's Mask or Twilight Princess, another Zelda game, getting lost can still be annoying. However, in Breath of the Wild, it's one of the best things about the game. For instance, most of us are likely going to be heading north when we leave the Great Plateau. We know Hyrule Castle is in that direction. We know Death Mountain is in that direction, which means we will likely come across Kakariko Village, a graveyard, the Gorons, and possibly the return of other races, and it seems the Flying Guardian is mostly in that direction as well. And we've all already seen the giant guardian circling Death Mountain. So with all of that being familiar to us, that is likely the direction everyone will go. However, even if you're taking a direct path straight to the castle or Death Mountain, you will still come across tons of NPCs, different villages, towns, races, puzzles, and much, much more. So if you're in one place, you set a marker for a place you want to visit. On your way there, you will likely forget about ever setting that marker and end up doing tons of other side quests, shrines, taking down huge overworld bosses, and a lot of other stuff you would have never thought. By simply walking in a straight line, slight deviations from your path will take you on even more of an adventure. 20. The Guardians are one of the most dangerous enemies, but they also drop some of the best gear. Almost every enemy in the game will have item drops. Some will be food, some will be weapons, some will be clothes and other gear. The giant Hinoxes, for example, will drop several rare items. But the Guardians are what you want to kill. After collecting so many drops from the Guardians, you will eventually be able to craft really, really powerful weapons and armor from them. You'll be able to turn those blue energy swords found on the smaller Guardians into your own lightsaber or those energy arrows from the original trailer. These arrows will often one-hit kill Guardians as well, which in return will cause more drops that can be turned into more arrows and more lightsabers. But offense isn't the only benefit. You will also be able to craft shields and really strong armor that you can wear out of the Guardians as well. And it actually looks pretty good. 21. This game is huge, and empty is far from the right word to use. Now, it makes sense for a lot of people to be worried about the game feeling empty with how big it is, but those extra 1 or 2 years that the game was delayed were put to good use. If you thought sailing from one side of the map to the other in Wind Waker took forever, or running from Kakariko Village to Hyrule Castle was annoying in Twilight Princess, you haven't seen anything yet. Making your way from one side of the Great Plateau to the other will take you quite a bit of time. Now, that is just 1 to 2% of the entire map. So imagine running, even on a horse, which is much faster, from one side of the map to the other. Even if you set the controller down with the character or horse running in a straight direction, without having to come across enemies and deviate from your path, or having to go around lakes, rivers, mountains, cliffs, and everything else in the way that would typically block a straight path, a straight A to B line would still probably take an hour or longer, and that's on a horse. And this is nothing like Twilight Princess. In that game, Hyrule Field was mostly empty. I mean, the GameCube did have its limitations, but still. There would just be a few enemies, things to collect, and puzzles here and there. But Breath of the Wild literally has things to do everywhere. You'll come across a flower, which will lead you to a Korok. You have NPCs walking everywhere, even fighting enemies alongside you. Or you'll come across some that are fighting enemies on their own. You'll find beetle in random locations. Towns are in places that you would never even believe. And with over 100 shrines, you're likely going to find one everywhere you look. The point is, Nintendo didn't just create a huge world. They filled it with more things than Skyrim or even The Witcher had. And it isn't filled with dumb stuff like cheese wheels and spoons. Every collectible is important. And you'll likely never be dropping things just to make more room. You'll have a purpose for everything you find. What's up everybody, really quick before we get to the usual end slate, I wanted to mention a quick update for this channel. I'm trying to bring together a few new series other than the usual discussions and news videos that we do. I would like to bring quality reviews, let's plays, do more live streams, a top 10 series, and more analysis videos. However, to do this, I need your help. Between being a new father, YouTube, and my real job, I don't have the time to work on all of these videos. So I would like to bring on other people who can help out from time to time, like Sasizi and others who have helped host and edit videos before. To make this all happen and to get awesome rewards for yourself, head over to patreon.com/GameOverJesse where you can get shoutouts and videos, join our group Discord and chat with us whenever you want, be a guest on some of our videos, and much more. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. I would like to give a huge thank you to this month's Patreons for their support: George Martinez, Glenn Cassio, Hen Hutinen, Lunarium, Magic Tech Review, The Itch Network, and Harris Priest. Thank you all for everything, and it's because of your support that I'm able to find the time to do these videos. If you would also like to support this channel, head over to patreon.com/GameOverJesse where you can find all kinds of great rewards like joining on a video, being added onto our Discord chat, having your discussion or topic featured on one of our videos, and much more, including having your own custom artwork similar to my own, drawn of you in any anime or video game style you would like. Finally, I would like to give a huge thank you to Gnomo Designs and CS Guitar 89 for providing the music and artwork for this channel.